So this is something that I searched for on YouTube, and I was shocked it doesn't exist in this day and age when there's a tier list for everything. There was no tier list for the American Gladiators, and it seems like such an obvious thing to make a tier list for. So I thought I should be the one to put it on here. Um, yeah, this was everyone. Obviously, people know I'm trying to get on Jeopardy. When I was a kid, those were the two shows I wanted to be on were Jeopardy and American Gladiators. So love this show. And again, I don't know. I can't believe there's one that doesn't exist yet. So I went on Wikipedia and I'm looking at the list of everyone who appeared on the show, and I just quickly gathered some headshots of all of them, and I put them here. Um, I'm going to be using a few criteria, just buffness, which obviously counts for a lot, their skills in playing the games, which I think is very important. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is only the original, I'm not talking about the remake, but because I brought that up, I had a lot of problems with the remake, but one of the big problems I had with the remake was I don't know if the new Gladiators didn't have time to like really learn the games because they didn't seem as skilled at them, which like they were getting beat like really easily every episode, whereas in the original like these guys like almost never got beat. Um, oh, and I should mention, I guess, that like this is a part of the video where I say like this is all just based on just my memory of stuff I watched 30 years ago. So maybe my memory, when I'm talking about who such and such did really well or did not quite as well, I could be completely mistaken. But I think I have a decent memory when it comes to stuff like this. So yeah, buffness, skill, and just like intangibles, I guess. I know I hate it when people use intangibles as a category, but whatever. So we're just gonna jump right into it. Um, put this on background on repeat. A little loud. Alright, so first off we have, I'm going alphabetically and I'm looking off the Wikipedia. First off we have Atlas. I don't know. I don't think I remember. How many episodes was he in? Yeah, 2 episodes. I don't remember him. So, I guess I should explain the tiers. They're pretty self-explanatory, but yeah. Obviously, this would be the equivalent of your S tier, or double S tier, S tier. Superhuman, metahuman, regular human, and then if I don't remember you, or if you were only on like for 1 or 2 episodes, and it's probably like normal that I wouldn't remember you, then unfortunately you have to go into this category. Alright, next up we have Blaze. Alright, Blaze is freaking awesome. I remember she used to like catch a lot of shit for like, the ref would always like penalize her more than the other gladiators for stuff she did, and I thought that was really unfair, but she was freaking awesome. I seem to remember that she was very good at all the games she played, so that, right off the bat, I think that's an easy demigod tier. Alright, next up is Bronco. I think this, yeah, 1 episode. Yeah. Don't remember who that is. Next up, this guy's name is Cyclone. He was in 6 episodes. I think I actually remember. I think I actually do remember him, but like the name is familiar and the face is familiar, but I mean 6 episodes and he as the fact that he even is vaguely familiar means that I won't have to put him in this category. He can be in human tier. Next up, this lady is named Dallas. Cool. Alright, 1 episode. Alright. A lot of, I think we're seeing a trend here. There seems to be a correlation between how in front of the alphabet you are and how short of a time you had spent on this show. Okay, next is Diamond. Diamond is pretty awesome. Oh, so funny story. I started watching this show when I first came to America and was just learning English, and the announcer, if you remember the show, they they would always do the roll call in the beginning, which was my favorite part. The roll call was always my favorite part. And the announcer would always say diamond, like 3 syllables. So for the longest time, I thought that it was normal to say diamond with 3 syllables. And even if you did nowadays, I'm sure it's not the weirdest thing in the world, but most people would say it with 2 syllables. But I'm getting way off track. Yeah, she's pretty awesome. I remember she maybe was not as buff as, like, Blaze, but... No, I was gonna say she was, like, did better in the games, but Blaze was pretty good, too. So I definitely can't put her above Blaze for that reason. I think she's gonna be at the very high end of superhuman. Like, I think other people will get into superhuman tier, but I don't think people are gonna get above her. She was pretty awesome. Alright, next we have Electra. She was actually, there's gonna be a bias leaning towards season 2, 3, and 4, I think, in my internal memory, because those are probably the seasons I am most familiar with. But out of the later season people, I actually remember her a decent amount, and I think that I seem to recall that, you know, she actually, I don't think was all that buff, but she, I think, was pretty skilled. So, of the late season people, I would say she's pretty solid. She can go into superhuman. Gemini. Alright. Gemini is freaking awesome. You know, very, was there since season 1, I believe. Just super solid. Like, every time he came on, like, you know, the contestants were in trouble. So, yeah. I don't really know what else to say. He's just like your workhorse. He's just like your double guy, like no nonsense, just comes in, gets the job done. Yeah, he's in demigod tier. Next we have Gold. Gold is really good. She could be another demigod tier. I think she got buffer as the series went on, if I remember correctly. Also demigod. I don't know. I think might be better than her, though. They're pretty neck and neck. Second takeaway so far, if your name is some kind of precious, valuable commodity, then you're ranked pretty highly and close to each other. Whew, that's tough. I think Diamond was a little bit more memorable. As much as my first instinct was to put Gold here, I think I'm gonna put her here. Next up, this guy is named Havoc. Havoc. 1 episode. Alright. This guy is named... Oh, this is Hawk. Oh, yeah, Hawk was a late addition, but I remember him was, now that I hear the name, he was a later addition to the series, but he would show up all the time. So for that reason, he can't be too low. I don't remember how good he was at the games, but he was super buff, I remember that. So I think he'll be the first one to go here. This is a good place to put him. Alright, Ice Baby. I don't think there's anything I need to say about this. I think she was probably the best Lady Gladiator, probably in the show's history. Super buff, super skilled. Like some people were better at some of the gladiators were better at some games than others. I remember she was good at every game. Yeah, and like, you know, I have a thing that, like, I really like tall girls. Like, I always have had a thing for tall girls. Like, my wife was super tall, and I remember she was kind of tall. So I know that's not in the criteria, but it's cool. So whatever. Yeah, she's definitely Greek god tier, no question. Next, Jade. Who is Jade? Okay, she doesn't even appear in when I search IMDb for how many episodes she was in. So yeah, no. Jazz, I remember her. Like I said, there's not too many like later season people that made a lasting impact on me, but I do remember Jazz. I seem to remember she was pretty solid. So probably above Hawk. I think that's a good place for her. Alright, so this part was a little confusing to me. There's Lace 1 and Lace 2. Now, when I was a kid, now remember, I watched this show when I was like 3 to 5. I watched like reruns later on too, but it made the most lasting impression on me when I was aged like 3 to 5. So back then, I didn't.
A more intelligently connected
like
world leads to a brighter future.
But I think I learned that fact later on. And Lace 1 was the one from the really early seasons. She was like, I don't remember her being all that buff, and then when I Google imaged her, it confirmed that. So that to me is like immediately it's like, you're kind of starting off on rough footing. But you know, she's a classic, she's an original, she stuck around, and she's definitely memorable. So I'll put her at the top of here for now. But you know, not being buff is a major drawback, a demerit for this particular ranking system. And then there's Lace 2. So again, when I was like 3, I just assumed they were the same person, but I don't remember anything about Lace number 2. So except that it's unfortunate. Like, why can't she have been given her own name at least? Why did she have to pick up the mantle for someone else? That's kind of unfortunate. All right, Laser. This is tough. So I think like you could definitely make an argument that Laser goes into Greek God tier just for longevity. He's kind of like the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of the series. This was so excellent for so long. But I don't know. This is really tough too. From the longevity standpoint, you would definitely make that argument. But the counter argument is like he never really stood out to me. And again, this is just basing off my own biased 30-year memory, so it could be way off for all I remember. I seem to remember. All right, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit because there are definitely some dude gladiators later on the list. I definitely are like they are way better at the games. And in that regard, I don't think I can put Laser above them. Like even Gemini, I don't think he was better at the game than Gemini. It's tough, but he's stuck around for so much longer. Yeah, I think I'll put him at the very top.
A more intelligently.
I think it's gonna just mute this. I think I'm gonna put him at the very top of this here, Demigod. This is tough. He really, you could easily make an argument for him here, and that would obviously be wrong. But because I'm skipping ahead and I'm looking ahead a little bit, I think this is a fair place to put him. Oh, I don't know. I just feel like Gemini is so much better at the games, though. This is tough. I don't know. All right, let's stick with you know what, longevity definitely plays a key point. If you can be that good for that long, you're a beast. So all right, we'll put him here. This guy is Malibu. I remember him. So funny thing about season 1. Season 1 I didn't watch live. Season 1 I didn't watch till reruns way later, until I was like maybe 8 or 9 years old. And so when you go back and watch season 1, it's like totally weird and different from seasons 2 and 3 and 4. And of course I watched it because I love that show, and I'm like, oh, well, this is a different season. I'm gonna check it out on reruns. But it definitely feels very weird. All the games are completely different, and there's only like 6 gladiators, and they really didn't like quite get their niche yet. So Malibu was from that season, and perfect example of like super buff. Like in terms of buffness score, he is way up there, like ripped as hell. But I don't seem to remember him being like very good at the games. Like I remember in the intro, there's a shot of him like getting just like blown off the cannonball game, and among other things, like I just remember he was only all right at the games. And a funny story. So I think like I was a big Mortal Kombat fan back in the day, and like the second movie, the one that everyone makes fun of, like I've learned years on that he played Motaro the Centaur. So that cracked me up. That, you know, not that many people can say they played a centaur in a movie. So, that's a lot of talk about this. Yeah, like here, I don't know. Buff, but not very skilled. Unlike, say, Lace, who's like not buff at all, but like I seem to remember probably better. All right, Nitro. This is another easy one. Like, I'm gonna put Ice above Nitro only because I feel like Nitro is freaking filthy. Like, he's disgusting. He's so good. Obviously, like, stuck around for the longest time. Insanely good at all the games. The only reason I'm gonna put Ice slightly above Nitro is because I think Ice is the undisputed GOAT among the women gladiators. Whereas Nitro is like, yeah, there's a bunch of guys who are 90 or 95% of Nitro, but no one can touch Ice. So, but that's not taking anything away from Nitro. Nitro's definitely great that tier. One of the originals, just great longevity. According to Wikipedia, Laser was the only one who played in every season, but Nitro was right there. Like, he was almost every season. And this goes back to what I was saying about Laser earlier. Like, Laser's freaking awesome, but like, I just remember like, I just remember thinking like if Nitro was in the game, like he was gonna have a much higher chance of winning. And yeah, so definitely beat that tier. Who's next? Rebel. Who is Rebel? According to IMDb, 4 episodes. Alright, don't remember that name at all. Next up, we have Saber. Ooh, okay, so another Mortal Kombat Annihilation actor of Jax. He's pretty of the late season editions. He's pretty awesome. I don't know if I want to put him here or here. Of the late season people, he probably goes here. I remember seeing this video of him benching 500 one time, and you know, as a fellow bench enthusiast, I was just, well, that's just freaking awesome. And you figure he probably weighs like, what, 255, 265, so that's almost twice your body weight. Yeah, that's freaking awesome. Yeah, the closest I've ever gotten was like, what, 1.9? Have I ever gotten up to 1.9? Let me think. No, probably like 1.85. Probably the best I've ever done, but yeah, it's over 2. And but the thing is, it gets harder as you weigh more. Like, it's easier for you to have a higher relative to your body weight strength the lighter you are. So in order to get over 2.0 and be that jacked is freaking insane. So I'm harping too much on the fact, but he was like, he had not a lot of personality. He was really good at the games. And in order to stand out at all from being in those later seasons, it means he must have done something right. So I think this is a good place to put him. That's Saber. Alright, next we have Siren. Yeah, Siren is literally a superhuman, because she was the Death Gladiator, but, you know, to overcome that and still... I think she probably belongs here, too. A relatively later season edition, not quite as late as some of these other people I've been talking about. But yeah, she's super buff, pretty good at the games. I think I seem to recall she was really good at the wall. And oh, someone followed me from watching this video? Thank you very much. This is, by the way, if you're the one that's still watching, this is not what I do at all. This is a huge departure from my usual content, but thank you for following. My usual content is all trivia based, so thank you. Yeah, so Siren, she's really solid, and literally a superhuman, because, you know, she had to overcome the deafness, so good for her. Oh, she died in 2000. Oh no, you know what it is? I think I remember. I'm not gonna say it. It's a little tragic, but I seem to remember a story about her death. So that's sad. A lot of these guys have known something like that. It makes me super sad. Hawk died. Huh. I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, I think I remember Siren's story about that. So I don't want to get into it on stream, but yeah. Aw, that's super sad. Alright, next we have Sky. I think her niche was that she was a super tall one. I don't know how tall she is exactly, but that definitely was, like, you know, the origin of her name or whatever. she's at least memorable of everyone who came in. Maybe she was also good at the wall because she was so tall. I mean, she was definitely better at the games than these guys, so I don't think she quite belongs with Diamond and Gold, so I think she'll go at the top of this tier. Next we have Storm. I remember Storm. She was pretty good. She appeared pretty frequently. I think she was probably, yeah, same thing, like, similar to Stag. Okay, takeaway number 3. If your name refers to some kind of meteorological phenomenon, you are not quite the tier of precious commodities, but in your name, but you're also ranked pretty closely to each other. Alright, next we have Sunny, another meteorological phenomenon. But this doesn't hold. I remember watching these Season 1 episodes later on, and I was not impressed. You know, she's probably higher than this dude, but... So the number one thing I remember about her was just, she was, like, not buff at all. She was, like, not defined or had any muscle buffness or definition. So right away, I'm like... I remember when I watched Season 1 years later, I was like, she doesn't even look like a gladiator. And then I do remember that she would get rocked a lot. So, unfortunately, of the meteorological trio, she'll have to go into regular human tier. And she really just did look like a regular human, so... Alright, next we have Tank. I think I remember that name. He was in... Oh, he was only in 3 episodes. I don't know why, I just remember that name. But because I remember that name, he's not in the complete anonymous group. He can come down here also. Thunder. Oh my god, he died recently. He died in 2021. That's super sad. Man, he's freaking awesome. I love Thunder. He was the perfect cross section of buffness and skill. I remember he hardly lost at anything. I remember he was good at assault. He was good at. He never lost in like breakthrough and conquer, because he was so big. He probably weighed the most out of these original guys. He probably looked like he weighed like 280 or something. Man, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, he goes right at the top here. I'll put him above Lace. He's as demigod as they get. Man! Yeah, Thunder was super buff. He had a lot of personality too, that long flowing blonde hair, that was super cool. Alright, next up we have Titan. What is this? In the note, okay, in the Wikipedia notes it said fired after charging referee during a match. What? He charged the ref in American Gladiators? Alright. That's kind of hilarious. And if I want to remember correctly, I want to say that the ref from the original series was like super cool too, so... Alright, I definitely remember him. I didn't know that's why he got kicked off the show. So he definitely doesn't belong here, but I definitely remember him. But for charging the ref, you have to go down here, bro. I can't believe that's a note in this Wikipedia. Alright, next up we have Tower. I definitely remember Tower. He was, as much as like being tall was the niche for Sky, for the ladies, that was Tower for the dudes. He was like super tall, I think. And not for nothing, but when I was Google imaging these, he's like got the biggest smile in all his photos online. So he's super happy to me, so good for him. Yeah, he was pretty. Look at that chest. That's like, that chest is gigantic. It's like probably like a 60-inch chest. That's insane. All right, he can go right there. Happy dude. Was solid for a bunch of seasons. Buff as hell, 60-inch chest. He goes right there. Alright. Next is Turbo. Alright. So this was what when I was talking about skipping ahead, why like I love Laser, but I'm reluctant to put him in the God tier. This is why. Turbo to me, Turbo was my favorite dude Gladiator. He was. You want to talk about skill? Again, I'm going off of memory here, but I never remember him losing anything. He literally never lost in anything. He probably batted like 900 in the heads-up games. You know, I'm not talking about like... So like Powerball, it's kind of hard to grade because it's not like heads-up. There's like Atmosphere, you can't really grade that. It's not really heads-up. There's a few more like that. But like even in Powerball, if he was in the game, like people hardly ever scored. There would be so many times during the Good Dudes where like they would just shut out the contestants. And by the way, as a kid, I was always Team Gladiator. I wanted to see them shut out and just destroy the contestants. Yeah, so like in games like Power, but like in the heads-up games, like Hang Tough, Wall, Assault, Breakthrough and Conquer, I never saw him lose. So he was my favorite as a kid. I remember Hang Tough especially. I think he was so good they even talked about it on the show, like how he never lost in Hang Tough. He was super good at Assault. He was like Wall, Joust, every heads-up game he would dominate. He was my favorite, and I remember when he got injured, I was super bummed out. Yeah, so to me, he's in Green Mountain. And I won't. It's so tough to not put him above Ice because he was my favorite. But I think he's not above Ice for the same reason Nitro isn't, which is even though he's my favorite and even though he's freaking amazing at everything, it's just like all these other dude gladiators are like, yeah, like 95% of his level, whereas Ice is just so far and away the GOAT that it's. That's the only reason, but we're splitting hairs here. Like this is, I'm just gonna say right now, I think this is the Mount Rushmore. I think it's these three. All right, Viper. I definitely remember Viper. He was a later season edition dude. He showed up in how many episodes? Let's look. 20. Oh, fewer than I thought. 25. Okay. I remember he was like. Kind of had like an attitude problem. Like he never smiled. He was like always like getting into it with contestants or something. I don't remember how good he was at the games. 25 is less than I thought. See, I can't put him for that reason. I can't put him above Hawk because as much as I don't remember too much about Hawk, the fact that he stuck around for so much longer meant he must have been like pretty solid. So yeah, I think that's about right for Viper. Yeah. I'm just looking at this. This is the biggest group right now. I'm just looking at their order and see if there's any changes I want to make. And finally, last and certainly not least, we have Zap. Now, if anyone, this is tough. If anyone else can make this here, it's Zap. Or she could go at the very top of Demigod. So let's think about this. Oh no. No! Can't no! Must not dishonor. No! Why won't I go back? Alright, I'm gonna start her off here because I can't. Just the thought of having her be in that level of dishonor is too much for me to bear. So whatever this like tech problem I'm having with Tier List Maker, you can't. So I'm gonna start her off here, but I'm mounting a heavy argument to put her here. So Zap, right off the bat, was in it from the very beginning. She was very active for a very long time. Again, insanely skilled. I think that's why, like, most of you, like, you can probably see I have a bias leaning towards the early seasons, but, like, honestly, like, it makes sense. If you've hung around the games for that long, like, it makes sense that you become, like, really good at it, right? She was really good at everything also. I don't remember her too much in Joust. She was good at Assault. She was good at... She's decent at the Wall, I want to say. I don't remember her too much in Breakthrough and Conquer. She must have done something right, because she was the face of the franchise for a long time, too. Yeah, I think, you know, she and Nitro are like, yeah, you know, yeah. Now that I think about it, yeah, she belongs here. She and Nitro are like mirrors of each other. Like, very, very solid. Longevity carries it a long way. Been there since season 1. She probably has... Oh, and I didn't even talk about this. She probably has the best physique of the Lady Gladiators. Just in terms of... like, everyone else here, like, what I'm looking at down here, they're all pretty ripped, too. Like, obviously, they're insanely ripped. What am I talking about? But to be... As a person who's gone through a lot of body changes, I can get to a really low body fat percentage, but my weight goes way down, or I can get super buff, but like I get chunkier. The hard part is not doing either of those things; it's doing them both at the same time. So all these ladies down here, like incredibly great rippedness, but to be that ripped and that bulky is the hard part. So that's awesome. So since physique is an important part of the criteria, and longevity and skill and being the face of the franchise, yeah, I've talked myself into it. So this is the Mount Rushmore. This is your top 4. Okay, so let's review this. Just make sure I got it right. Don't change anything wrong. Everyone down here was only in like 1 to 3 episodes, and I don't even remember their names, so that's where they go. Everyone here is like, okay, I remember their name, but like, not that memorable. In Sunny's case, it's like, you don't have a shred of buffness. And in this dude's, in Titan's case, it's that he was the Latrell Sprewell of American Gladiators, apparently. No, sorry, that's a bad example. It's charging the ref. So, who would be like an example? But in anyways, yeah, that's a huge demerit. Everyone here is like solid. Anyone above this line is like, there's nothing bad you can say about them. They're super solid. They just have a few things working against them that puts them like at a disadvantage when they're going up against the greats. Yeah, whether in terms of physique or skill or lack of longevity or any of those factors. All right, starting here, we're really cooking now. This is Diamond, Gold, Electra, and Tower. That is like... now you're talking like really good at the games, really excellent physiques, like good personality, a lot of charisma. This is like someone you can slap in the middle of an episode and you know it's going to be pretty awesome. Okay. Up here, we're starting to talk about, like, these are like your NBA All-Stars levels. Like, these are your solid rotation guys. These are your All-Stars. Like, these are people who can carry. I want to put Gemini higher. I don't know. This is what I was saying before. Laser versus Gemini. Longevity versus peak. And then Thunder is... I just remember Thunder being, like, never losing games. He was like... yeah. This is tough. I don't know how, like, I feel okay with, like, these guys being up here in the demigods here, but who goes above whom is tough. I don't know if I can... That's so close. Yeah, you got, like, Laser's arguments on the longevity. Thunder's is just how solid he was, like, never losing. Gemini. He's just a rock. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it like this, but I just want the record to show I was very conflicted because this is a super tough choice. And then here, this is your Mount Rushmore. You can't beat this. Zap and Nitro are the faces of the franchise. Insanely good at every game. Great physiques. Been there since the beginning. Yeah, like, whew, that's... you start a franchise with You need to start an NBA franchise with one of those picks. And then Turbo is my all-time favorite. If anyone knows a place where you can actually find stats of the games, I'd be very interested because I remember him never losing anything. He's so good. That goes a long way. And then I think Ice stands alone at the top. I mean, this is one tier. They all belong in the same tier. They're all-time greats. But I think Ice stands alone as #1 all time. So yeah, that's it. That's my tier list. And you know, if you want to disagree with me, like, feel free to comment. But I think it was pretty solid. Yeah, I was a pretty big fan, so I like decent knowledge about most of this. But you know, I could be wrong. So if you want to fact check me, that's cool too. Yeah, cool. See you guys.